Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in a very brief interaction before he stepped into the Parliament building, had said that this session would be remembered for its historic decisions. And we're all speculating as to what those historic decisions could actually be. Is it going to be the Women's Reservation Bill? Or another speculation that's actually doing the rounds is whether or not the government will bring in a bill to introduce reservations for OBCs with respect to the number of seats in Parliament and also Legislative Assembly. So that's another speculation in the build-up to, of course, certain important decisions yet to be taken in this special session of Parliament. So let me, in fact, go across to Aishwarya for more on this. Aishwarya, we've discussed the possibility of the Women's Reservation Bill being brought in, which has, of course, been a demand of several political parties, but also another piece of legislation that's now doing the rounds purely by means of speculation. We have no official confirmation about this, is that there could possibly be a bill to also introduce reservations for OBCs in terms of seats in Parliament as well as legislative assemblies.
Well, certainly, yesterday what we witnessed in the all-party meeting is that different political parties from the opposition front gathered together and stated that in this session, women's reservation bill should be passed, and that's what now the sources are indicating, that the government had made consensus, and this could be brought on Wednesday. Today and tomorrow being a day of remembering the old Parliament building, its Indian political parliamentarian democracy, and also tomorrow it would be shifting from old to new. But series of meetings also taking place simultaneously inside the Parliament premises. We have been told that Prahlad Joshi and Piyush Goyal have met earlier Amit Shah just before the cabinet meeting today, which is unusual in terms, because every Thursday what we witness is the cabinet meeting, but today it has been called at 6:30 p.m. and another meeting, a round of meeting, is currently taking place with Piyush Goyal, Prahlad Joshi meeting Prime Minister himself, and that's why the reason perhaps speculations are being made that either it could be Women's Reservation Bill as being mentioned in the all-party meeting, or else OBC quota bill can also be introduced as far as the Parliament reservation is concerned.
And Aishwarya, what's very interesting about this special session is the fact the government has been very tight-lipped about the agenda. Even when the preliminary agenda had been released, there were 4 legislative bills that were included as part of that manifest that they'd released. However, as far as the historic decisions that are yet to be taken this session are concerned, there's absolutely no word officially from the government as to what that's likely to be.
Well, certainly, and government faced huge criticism from the opposition parties, stating that these 4 bills that have been mentioned as far as the consideration and passing are concerned in both the houses are of less importance, and this could be done in winter session as well.
Correct.
To which today Prime Minister dropped a big hint that this short session is historic, and historic decisions are to be made. Certainly that led to a huge amount of speculations. The opposition parties already arguing to the government that there could be some sort of secret agenda or a hidden agenda in front of the government, that the government is not taking all parties into consideration and also not letting the common man know about what they're going to be let the Parliament come. But on the other side, it is cabinet meeting today, which is unusual.
Sure.
It could be these bills which can be brought on the table and could be approved by the cabinet, so that it can be brought in the new Parliament building on Wednesday.
Let me take this across immediately to my colleague Madhav Das Gopal Krishnan, our national editor. Madhav, that all-crucial cabinet meeting is slated to be held at 6:30 p.m. today. What can we really expect? Because speculations are rife, and the government's only added to it, to be fair to the opposition on this, for the simple reason that they've been very tight-lipped on what these historic decisions are likely to be.
Well, Siddharth, it all began with opposition leaders, including Sonia Gandhi, writing that the special session and its agenda should be made public. We saw later, of course, the government release formally the agenda on the first 2 days, and while, as you rightly mentioned earlier, they had said 4 days after yesterday's all-party, for 4 bills, I beg your pardon, after yesterday's all-party meeting, they had said that 8 bills would be taken up for consideration and passing during this special session. Now, following that, there has been a tremendous amount of speculation, given the fact that there's a cabinet meeting called at 6:30. It is normally on Wednesday that cabinet meetings take place, although there's nothing that stops the government from meeting if required for this kind of a cabinet meeting. The fact that it's happening first.
Right, we'll try to patch that line once again with Madhav Das Gopal Krishnan. Aishwarya, coming back to you, it all is, of course, building up very interestingly to the cabinet meeting that's going to be held at 6:30 p.m. Later today. Can we expect a very significant announcement to be made?
Well, certainly, if these bills are to be passed for consideration, and had to be brought on the table of the House, these bills first have to be approved by the cabinet, and therefore, certainly, today the cabinet meeting has been called unusual of what happens every Thursday when the Prime Minister chairs it. But today it has been called several meetings, as I was mentioning earlier, as is also simultaneously taking place inside the Parliament complex. Prime Minister at the Prime Minister's chamber, it is Piyush Goyal and Prahlad Joshi who went in earlier. It was almost a 1 hour long meeting with Amit Shah as well of both these cabinet ministers. So government is trying to send out a message, and therefore speculations are also being raised that a women reservation bill or a OBC quota bill can be brought in this cabinet today so that it can be approved. But still the government has not come out fairly. They had not disclosed the agenda yet, and it's all eyes will be at 6:30 p.m. where the cabinet meeting will be chaired by Prime Minister.
So